So you've decided to level up your audio as a content creator, which is great news. And maybe after some research, you're going to start with something like this, a portable audio recorder, something like the Tascam DR-05. And you're wondering, do you also need an external microphone to plug into this, or are the mics built in to these budget-friendly portable audio recorders? Are they good enough? And that is what we're going to answer in this video. Hey, I'm Brian Miller, and welcome to Audio for Content Creators, where we help you sound better and level up for all your content creation needs. Are the microphones built into portable audio recorders, especially these sub $100 consumer grade ones, are they good enough? If you're a TLDR kind of person, the answer is yes, sometimes, sort of, depending on the situation, probably not. I'm sorry, that really is the answer. So I don't know how to help you if you don't have 10 minutes. First and foremost, absolutely all of the audio you are hearing in this video, including everything you've heard so far, has been recorded with a Tascam DR-05X. Not this one. This is the original DR-05 that I'm using as a prop. But the DR-05X is actually up overhead on a boom stand right here, pointed pretty much at my chest. When you have a microphone, any microphone on a boom in this position, you want it pointed at somebody's chest, not their mouth. I discussed that in this video over here. The first thing we need to understand about the microphones built into these small portable audio recorders is that I'm saying microphones plural on purpose. These are two microphones that are working as a stereo pair. So essentially, the inbuilt mics here, they are, or it is, a stereo microphone. They are stereo mics. It is a stereo microphone. A mono microphone, something like one of these budget-friendly on-camera shotgun mics, this is mono. It's a single microphone that captures a single source. So all you're ever going to hear is one source directly up the middle. And that's how you're used to hearing all spoken word and dialogue. But this is a stereo microphone. It's a mono mic pointing this way and a mono mic pointing this way in what we call an XY configuration. And the problem with that is that you don't actually get a true mono source even when you set the device to mono. Now, what do I mean? Well, you can go into the menu and you can choose mono or stereo. But what you're not doing is getting a real mono source when you set it to mono. In other words, if you were getting a real mono source, you would only be using one of these mics, either this one or this one. I actually wish that you could do that with these, but you can't for some reason. Instead, if you choose mono, what it's doing is it's capturing the stereo image and then collapsing that image into a single mono source. It's just collapsing them. Why is that a problem? Well, imagine that you were recording like this. You've got it pointed at you. You know what? I should demo that. Hang on. So if I'm talking right up the center of a stereo microphone, it feels like if you have earbuds in or headphones on, you'll really be able to hear this. You really need earbuds or headphones right now. So pause the video, go get those. 3, 2, 1. Yay, we're back. If I'm talking up the center of a stereo microphone, it'll feel like my voice is coming right at the center, just like you're used to hearing voices in dialogue. But if I turn it even a little bit, you'll start to hear my voice coming more out of the left side or coming out of the right side, depending on how it's turned. I can kind of shove my voice all the way from one side of the image to the other side simply by turning this, because we're getting a stereo image, which means there is no true mono voice coming out right now. You're getting a phantom mono image from what's created from kind of the microphone capturing over here and the microphone capturing over here. So now I'm in mono, and you might think, well, this is the solution. All I got to do is go in here and set the recorder to mono. But you're not really getting mono right now. What you're getting is that stereo image you just heard a minute ago, but collapsed, where it's taking the left and the right and shoving them both into a mono image, essentially in post-processing, which is happening all within this recorder right now. And this might work for you if you're planning to use this to do some narration or some voiceover work, and you're going to have it set to mono, and you're going to have the mics like 2 or 3 inches, no more than this, away from your mouth, and you got like a pop filter on, a windscreen, something like this, and you're going to do some voiceover, some narration, you can totally get away with it here because the mic is so close to the source that you don't have to worry too much about the stereo stuff that's being collapsed into this phantom mono image. But if the microphone's further away from you, you're going to have a problem, because in a normal indoor environment, you would be getting the microphone, the stereo pair, capturing stuff over here and capturing stuff over there, which includes my voice bouncing around over here, which might be bouncing around differently over there. When all of that room reverb, those reflections that are bouncing differently, when they get collapsed together, it sounds really weird. You won't hear it that badly in this room because this is a fully professionally treated home studio. There's virtually no reflections in this room at all. You probably don't have a professionally treated home studio, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to be aware of the fact that if you're planning on using the inbuilt mics in one of these recorders for doing spoken word, anything further than about 3 inches away from you is going to come across as very phasey, very out of focus almost, if that makes sense, because of the stereo issue that's being collapsed. And just to give you an example of that, I'm now in the baby's nursery, which has just hardwood floors and mostly bare walls, no acoustic treatment of anything to speak of, right? There's a crib, so there's not even like sheets or comforters or a bed like you would find in a master bedroom or something. And you can hear right now what's happening. I've got this set up just like I did a little while ago, which is it's set to mono and it's positioned overhead, pointed right at my chest. Everything else is the same, but you're getting this collapsed mono image from 2 microphones where one of them is going here, one of them is going here. It's going to be capturing me at my voice from 2 different mics that are neither of them are pointed at my mouth and mushing them together with all the weird reflections going on in this room. And here it is again set to mono. I'm talking right down the center of it, and you would think that this would sound pretty good, but there's so many reflections where this mic's capturing whatever's happening over here, that mic's capturing whatever's happening over there, and you're gonna get a very undesirable sound out of this, as opposed to a true mono microphone that's being captured by the recorder instead of using stereo mics and collapsing them down to mono. This is a true mono recording right now because this is a mono microphone and I'm holding it at about exactly the same position, but because you're only capturing it with one single mic, even though this room is echoey and undesirable in general, this is going to be a much, much better sound. These are very, very sensitive condenser microphones, and that can be really awesome. It means that they're crystal. I mean, these microphones are they're crystal clear. They're warm, but they're not too deep. I feel like they're more crisp than they are warm. But if you're looking for that really crisp sound where you can hear every articulation, where you can hear all the mouth clicks and all of the enunciation, these are really going to do a good job. And again, the best case scenario for using these is if you're using it like this, kind of handheld or very, very close to you as a narration or voiceover mic. If you wanted to use it for your standard content creation, like say boomed overhead or attached to your camera, you have to be a little bit more careful, and the ability to get high quality out of these is going to degrade very, very quickly. For example, now the DR-05X is sitting on top of my camera the way that you would normally put a microphone like this on top of a camera. And my camera is, 4 feet away from me. This is not going to sound good. Even though the microphones are condenser, they're highly sensitive, I've got it set to mono. What it's doing, I'm looking at where the microphones are right now. One of them is pointing over here at this wall at where these guitars are. The other one is pointing way off into that side of the room. And if that's going to get collapsed into a mono image from 4 feet away from capturing over there, there is no chance that this sounds good. It's just not going to work for you the way that you're hoping. And this is a normal distance to be as a content creator. But let's say that instead I wanted to use an external microphone like this. Is a $40 microphone, the Movo VXR10 Pro, and I'm just going to raise this up. So this would be out of frame, and I could have this somewhere else attached up here. I could use a long extension cord and leave it somewhere else. And now I'm leveraging the power of something like the DR-05X to get a much, much higher quality preamp than what you get in your camera, plus the ability to record in WAV at 24-bit, uncompressed, fantastic. And I'm getting a true mono source now. This is true mono because I'm bypassing. I'm not using the built-in mics at all. This is a mono microphone plugged in directly, and it's being captured as dual mono, which is sending the exact same identical signal to the left and to the right, which is mono. This is the way to use a portable audio recorder like this if you're doing anything other than having it right here next to your mouth. So would I recommend getting one of these budget portable audio recorders if you're planning on using the built-in microphones? Probably not, unless this is your use case. If your use case is getting real up close to this thing and doing some really beautiful narrations, voiceovers, and getting it nice and crisp, then yeah, this could totally work for you as an all-in budget solution. But as soon as you get further away, if you're going to put it overhead and boom it, if you're going to have it way back on the camera over there, if you're in poorly treated environments or spare bedrooms that don't have any acoustic treatment or anything that's going to absorb all these extra reflections, and it's really not a good idea. Yes, you should 100% get one of these because it's one of my favorite pieces of gear ever. I use this thing all the time, but I use it as a way to capture much higher quality audio with external microphones and then sync and post, as opposed to going directly in to the camera where you have crappy preamps and you have compressed audio that's saved in file types that you could never get back. Yes, 100% get one. Oops, smashed onto it. Yes, 100% get one of these to improve the quality of your audio with external mics. If you're going to do it just like this, then maybe you can use these. Other than that, I wouldn't. Well, I hope that this was helpful, illuminating. It probably isn't the answer you were hoping to hear, but I hope that it did help you on your journey to sound better and level up, which is what we do here on this channel. If you're interested, I have multiple courses in audio for content creators. My most popular one is simply called Audio 101 for Content Creators, and you can check that out at audio101.info. That being said, thanks so much for sticking with me. My name is Brian Miller, and always remember, our world is a shared experience. Every interaction is meaningful, and every person you meet, even virtually, is important. So come back anytime to sound better and level up, and we'll see you soon.